Hey everyone, welcome back to an exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I Bancroft being joined once again by Tanner, and like always, Fluff.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back. On today's episode of Murray, we're finding out who's your daddy. Stay until the end for more results.
And like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. First things first. Wait.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I'll say first things first. I want to call out this mat. Like, before we even start, I almost just switched our maps around because I wanted to play on that map instead.
Where did you get that, Matt?
I got it down in Owensboro. I found it in a pile of old Pokemon and Magic mats.
What?
And, yeah, I was digging. I'm like, I want to find a Dragon Ball mat, and I came up with something so much better.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I really great show.
Today's matchup is me versus Tanner. Tanner's brought Gotenks back. Since we're kind of getting to that Gen Con vibe, and I brought Soul Striker, but with a twist. And that twist, you may be asking, well,
You'll see right
wait for it. Wait for it.
it's Zod.
There we go. AOD.
Well, hold on. I got to do a quick shout out, Bancroft.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching Attack on videos for a while now. All right. And there's one guy that every time Bancroft's in a video and when I'm in a video dislikes the video. So show yourself. I want to know who you are. I want to know why you hate us.
It's
So,
Jimmy.
It probably is Jimmy. Probably is Jimmy.
It's probably Jimmy's burner account. If we're being serious,
Bancroft dislike. Also, the fucking AOD. God damn it.
All right. So the idea behind this was, I'm still trying to figure out what to take to Gen Con, and I was thinking about taking AOD, and Jimmy had mentioned Soul Striker, and I'm like, that's not bad. You know, I lose the ability to free play stuff, but I could play stuff, then swing leader and restand the energy to play more things. So it kind of has that same effect, and it's a lot of good blue. For the love of everything, I know though if I bring this deck, I'm gonna run into every blue hate deck there is because it's just my luck. But if you're not familiar with AOD, the Bombity removes specific costs and reduces the cost of a card. So a lot of cards are one, like the Turtles or the Garlic Jr. become a one-cost card to play, no matter what the color energy is. And then all the 3-drops are 2 energy, and from that point on, you got the gist of it. In the difference between this and pure AOD, though, is that I can't play Android 13, the counterplay card, because it requires the AOD leader, which is very unfortunate because it's a really good card to have, and it's one of the things that if I were to play pure AOD, I have access to. So if my opponent were to Topo me, the Majin Buu, Oceania, any of those cards, or even the Vegeta's
Final Flash?
No, explosive, it negs the board by 15.
Exploiting weakness.
Exploiting weakness, thank you. All those.
I think we just learned that Bancroft is a half glass empty or glass half empty type of guy. I lost Android 13. Man, I guess I gotta play God Sealing Trunks. This sucks.
But okay, so the difference between those two cards though is that they're reduced cost, so they don't ever get played, and they don't get put back in my opponent's hand. With God Sealing Trunks, they get put back in my opponent's hand. So it becomes kind of like if I counter that, I know I'm going to see it again.
Maybe.
But with a deck that goes wide, it's not a bad thing. And I've played Gotenks, and I've played against Tanner's Gotenks as well. So I kind of know that I need to go as fast as possible, but I'm going to risk Dormant. So that's why I swung with the Garlic Jr. first, knowing that you would just get rid of it. And I'm like, well, I might as well just get rid of the attack.
Yep. Also, let's be real. Anybody who can read knows how to build Gotenks, so that's my contribution to the going over of my deck. So.
I do want to say this is a nightmare for me. These are the 2 decks that I think I hate playing against the most that aren't banned. And I'm not saying they should be banned. I'm not saying that at all because I don't think there's anything inherently broken about either. But these are AOD and Gotenks are the 2 decks that I just hate playing against. And if I had to pick a third, it's Mecha Kabor.
Easily.
They're just infuriating to play. Because no matter what you do, it's not good enough.
So I want to go over the reason why I chose to swing with Turtles over the leader. For those who aren't familiar, Turtles Search this top 5 card with a card of Ancient Instructions in its card name. So I was actually hoping, since I hadn't seen a Unison yet, swing a Turles and just, if I see the Majin Buu Unison, just grab that instead. That way I have a Unison for my next turn, but unfortunately I didn't see it. I saw the Broly card. So.
Yeah, I'm drawing 3 because I'm resolving Gotenks and then the Unison. I don't know why I'm attacking Turles, by the way.
It's a searcher. No, that's smart.
It was smart?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I know this game.
Yeah. So, knowing that I'm playing AOD, Turles is a way that I can search for all my AOD targets to thin my deck out. That way, all the other draws are just potentially good blue stuff. And, like, early the Broly would be good against normal decks, but not against Gotenks because I can't hit the 6-drop with the Broly, unfortunately. But the Broly allows me to look at the top 3 cards of my deck, add 1 to my hand, place the other 2 in the drop area. So it's also another way of searching. So, like, you're getting rid of all these cards that would prevent me from potentially extending my plays or getting extra stuff to my hand.
Did I forget to swing again with Gotenks?
No, your first swing was towards the Unison. Oh, sorry, to the Turles, and your second swing was to the lead. And I chose to Awaken only because this leader's a draw 2 when Awaken, not every energy stand. So there's no reason just to hold off on that. And now I benefit from the full effect of swinging with the leader's auto.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And of course, thinking about Zarbon here, went ahead and played him. Drop that Goten because you can just recur him for an energy anyways. I'll say something, to be honest. I was curious, you being an AOD player, you've played AOD since it came out, you're very good with the deck. Do you think getting rid of that Bobbity is worthwhile?
Yes.
Or yes?
Yes.
Okay.
If you could, it has barrier, but if you could get rid of the Bobbity, you mess up the AOD player's entire game. So I've already had to charge one because I didn't want to get rid of certain cards in my hand, or maybe I didn't have enough blue in my hand because I need to keep all blue in order to play like this card right here or make take advantage of my super combo. And so if you were to get rid of the Bobbity, either I have to hard cast another, which is still 1 energy, or if I have a hatch in my hand, I have to activate me on the hatch to play it. The problem with that, though, is that didn't open up a counter window. Now, granted, Bobby's being played, quote-unquote, blindly, so you have to do the counterplay during window 1, because it has barrier, so you won't be able to really hit it on the second one with anything like the Charismatic Frieza.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to waste energy to establish another Bobbity in order to get my cheap played cards. Because the only AOD card I can actually play is this Unison or Turles without the Bobbity.
Okay. That makes sense then. I'll actually, speaking of that Unison, I will say this is why I love playing at the shop, and the fact that we get to go over our games and do the analysis and talk afterwards. There's a point in time where I probably could have sequenced a little bit different to get rid of that Unison in an appropriate manner instead of kind of letting you get some of the effects off of it. And you're actually the one who pointed it out after I did it. You're like, oh, you just took care of the Unison. I'm like, I didn't notice it at the time, but we'll discuss it when we get there. And then what? Charismatic. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I played Broly in order to get rid of your blocker because I want my double strike to swing at your lead or your Unison clearly without having any worry of an issue. Mm-hmm. And getting rid of the Broly is nice as well, but just because it's a 20k beater that for sure will hit your Unison clearly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, turn 4, this is where I should start to turn it around and go for it. And I had a feeling you might hit the Unison, which is, of course, why I charged the one in hand. And to anybody, God damn it, Baby Hatch. It's not this turn. So before I got triggered by Baby Hatch, if you're playing Gotenks, assume you are not safe if the Unison is at 6 markers. Any Gotenks player worth their salt has a Unison on deck, ready to put underneath to get the -7. You know, I know most everybody at the shop has played it enough to know that, but if you're at Gen Con, webcam event, don't assume you're safe at 6. Put it down to 5. It is worth your time and swing to do that.
Never seen Goku or Gotenks lose if they resolve that effect. I've seen them one without resolving it, but I've never seen them lose afterwards.
It's an insane.
I mean, it's 3 cards to the hand. You look at their life and you choose what card goes away. It's just incredible, and that's why I did focus on it, because I didn't want, in case I were to, you have dormant, so I knew a lot of my attacks wouldn't be able to go through as much as I want to, and I had to like choose which cards to swing with. And I was like, okay, if I don't get a lot of the drawing cards, my hand may not be as good as I would like it. So that's also why I was focusing on it so much as well. And that was really nice playing Gotenks get rid of the Hatchiak. And
that's why this deck's so broken.
No barrier. I mean, it's what it is. What it is.
Yeah, but sorry, you were going on a.
Well, I was just gonna say the reason why I chose to hatch right away, because since you didn't swing the leader, you're not getting the draw advantage from there. Mm-hmm. And I knew with 4 energy you could play in their Gotenks easily. And like if I didn't hatch, then I'm wasting other negates just to prolong this potential onslaught of attacks.
I was gonna say, yeah, been comboing out of the double strike there. And this is something actually we talked about at the end of the night outside of the shop. Is you'll notice as a Gotenks player, I try to sit at that 6 energy, and maybe I'm a little too comfortable in 6 life. I'm sorry, yeah, I wish 6 energy. You played that Broly already, and I still have to read it. Maybe it's too much to stay there because Gotenks does have a lot of floodgate negates, but at this point, we all know if I'm tapped out, I can't play the Boo floodgate or the new green Topo Boo. Dormant is always a possibility and probably a certainty. But I do think sitting at that 6 life takes care of the one thing that beats green, which is well-timed double strike attack. And that just seems to be the comfort zone, but it may not be the right way to play it. So if anybody else has played Gotenks, comment in the bottom. I'd love to hear your feedback, especially before Saturday of this week. And no bullshit feedback either. Don't try to screw me over in case we see each other. But that's also that Android, the old school AOD. I still think that card's really good.
Oh yeah, I mean you play it 2 energy to KO a card. So I mean I was going to swing 20 crit and then KO your Android afterwards. I mean, not your Android, your Gotenks. And Bojack is so nice, especially against leaders that can swing more than once. If you get tapped down their leader, it just hurts them.
And you do see that in the format.
Mecha Kibora. I mean, but the thing about Mecha Kibora is they have to activate main to do that. So you're just prolonging them from doing that if you're able to establish that card. But Mecha Kibora can steal that Bojack, though, so you can't do it twice in a row.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is the point where I'm thinking to myself, okay, the last, and anybody who saw the last video where I was on the channel playing Soul Striker, the opponent played Fu Shrouded in Mystery, or the 10-drop Fu at 6 energy. Bancroft's currently sitting at 5. So I said to myself, well, could I push through this Trunks he just played? And you're going to see what that answer might be.
I will say this was very scary. Regardless of what I was expecting, you still have 5 open energy.
Yeah. So that'll be another thing, don't want to give the spoilers away, but that was another thing that I definitely wanted to try out. Is in my list, I actually play the Bukai because I think it is a little bit more versatile. But at 5 open energy in Gotenks, you can clearly see it on the board. I have Cell X sitting nice and pretty. I set it up the turn before where he played a baby hatch. Cell X was probably the better secret rare, but that's yet to be determined. I actually still prefer Kai a little bit, but again, not exactly sure. So here I went ahead and played this Gohan so that you'd bottom deck it. Even though it had double strike, what my sort of philosophy was is if I could get you down to 2 life, I had maybe other means to get into that, and you're going to see what that is here in a minute. So I wanted to proc the Boo and go ahead and have you bottom deck that in hopes that you would. but sequencing wise, it would have been smarter for me to just play the other double striker I'm about to, and then use the leader ability and minus a marker so that that unison was there and I didn't have to worry about any card being bottom decked. But that was the sequencing I mentioned earlier in the video that we were discussing. All right, now I got to put 2 cards underneath.
You've got a fat hand though, man. Like,
yeah.
You're drawing
I mean,
3 times whenever you fuse, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, 6 cards already from the last 2 turns that haven't used yet. And that's why I went ahead and went in on that double strike Kai on leader swing, because I want you down to 2. And this is where, talk about, you'll probably hear in another video this week, if we were in Gen Con mode, I would not have told you that was dual attack, not double strike.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep getting confused on that for some reason. And I played this deck. Like,
a lot of people do. I think they just get so overwhelmed by how much that card does that they just assume, oh, it must be double strike as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how legal that is, but we'll see.
I mean, it's ultimately up to the player to catch. If your opponent just picks up 2 life on a single strike, and like, okay, fine, like that just puts you in range. I mean, yeah, they're adding another card to hand. I mean, you could call a judge on that, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you could definitely call a judge on it, but like, it kind of is making it easier for you to win.
So,
like,
I will say, in the mindset though, I'm expecting sell X. I'm expecting you to drop it and still just push you 2 more swings. So my mindset was I was gonna take whatever damage you gave me anyways up until that point. I was not expecting you to go into the 5-drop Gotenks.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I was very, very on the fence about it. And the 2 cards, well, 3 cards, you're going to see all 3 that I added in before locals today, was the 5-drop Gotenks, the essentially 2-drop Gohan. I mean, it's a 5 cost, but when you're at 3 or less life, he's a 2 cost. And then you're going to see the 3rd card that I added in. Actually, all 4 added in a Kai, the double strike Kai. And I like it. I mean, I lost, which I'm not spoiling anything. We're just about done. There's the 4th one. And I just love that card. You guys at the shop have been on that card forever, and I've not been able to pull the trigger on the price point. But man, is it worth every penny? It should not be a promo, but it is worth every penny.
So I'm going to point out real quick, you also misplayed because you forgot that the Trunks' auto was still in effect because you just swung with 2 5-drops in a row, if I'm correct. And I remember you swung them. Okay, cool. You got a bottom 2 cards. And you're like, oh yeah.
No. Not for the 5 drops.
Not for 5 drops.
No, but for the Fighting Against Fate. Like when you played it, if I'm correct, I mentioned dropping 2 cards, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Because this turn took forever.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it again because honestly, at this point, I knew I'd lost. So if I didn't do it, it wasn't out of a misplay. It was more out of I'm going to let Bancroft have the satisfaction of killing me. But because I knew, I mean, come on, it's Soul Striker, it's blue. That dormant wasn't going to resolve.
No,
you know what I mean. One way or another, that dormant wasn't resolving. And I think I would have had just that and one other card in hand. I don't attack twice with Fighting Against Fate, I don't believe, but I'd have to go back and watch it.
Regardless, did it because you only had 2 cards left in your hand and you used them for dormant, and I countered it.
Yeah, on the freak chance you didn't have that in hand. But yeah, this is just game right here.
I chose to swing with the leader first, just in case you had like a shocking death ball. I didn't want to swing with the
the triple strike.
Yeah, and then somehow you drew into a super combo. But I think you're playing the Great Saiyamans anyways, so you have to bottom card anyways.
Nope, I play all 4 18s.
You play 18s. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have lost to Gotenks in that position, where like it looked like I had the win and go in, and then the 2 cards they have left in their hand were 18 super combos.
Yeah,
and you're like the absolute hell.
That card's abusive.
Yeah, it is.
And I want to be abused by it. Never mind. I'm sorry.
With that being said, thank you for all tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind, while Fluff does the outro, there's buttons on the screen.
The results are in. Bancroft, you are the daddy. Please click on one of these four here. Let us know what you think. Not about this, but just leave us feedback below, like algorithm stuff. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, fluff out.